Thank you. I went through great lengths to prepare a speech, but I got to ad-lib a little bit because when I start seeing my Brooklyn people, it's a flood of emotion, and yeah, I'm emotional. I'll choke up at some point during this thing. It's who I am. But man, it's good to be here in Brooklyn. It really is. It really is. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a story, all right? And there's a point to it at the end. You have to be very, very careful about, talking about yourself because you look like a real jerk when you do that, but I've had a lot of really good things happen in my life because of my perseverance, because of what I learned being from Brooklyn. So let me tell you a little bit of a story, okay? Just bear with me a little bit. And there's a point at the end, and this is especially to the kids, all right? This is for you guys. The adults will probably know what I'm talking about 10 seconds into what I'm about to say. First of all, I'm honored to have been invited here tonight by the Brooklyn Baseball Association to your awards dinner. When Craig Noto called me and asked me to be a speaker and an honored guest, how could you say no to Brooklyn and baseball? Two of the greatest things on earth. So I'm very happy to be here. I was born in Brooklyn, at Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, and grew up on both Newkirk Avenue and East 23rd Street before moving to Foster Avenue and Ocean Parkway. I went to Montauk Junior High School, Brooklyn Tech, and Brooklyn College before getting my master's degree in athletic training from LIU Brooklyn. You're starting to see a pattern here, right? I have no problem saying that I am as Brooklyn as a slice at Spumoni Gardens on a hot summer night. All right? And I'm really, really proud of that. When I was with the Knicks, and we'll get to that in a minute, the players used to say I had the biggest walk in the room. That doesn't usually happen for a 5'6½", Arab Puerto Rican from Foster Avenue. But that's because of Brooklyn. I'm the product of an Arabic dad and a Puerto Rican mom, and played my Little League ball for North Highway Little League. I hit my only 2 home runs at Grady High School and Marine Park. By the way, the left fielders, they made errors on both balls. I made the North Highway All-Star team in '75 and got to play at Gil Hodges Stadium, where I had the honor to pinch run with 2 outs in the 5th inning, all right? By the time I got loose, the hitter popped it up, so I didn't even make it to second base, but that's a story of my life. It was about then I figured I had my limits as a ball player, although my Kelly Park softball years allowed me to play with and against some of the great Brooklyn legends like Nicky DeFendis and Joe DiNapoli and Michael Vona and Ernie Mamano. Those were the days, My years at Brooklyn Tech were where I began to realize the importance of education and what comes as a result of hard work. I hit a snag in my early college years simply because my major, biology, kicked my butt. I didn't give it the full focus I needed and found myself losing any chance at med school by the time my college freshman year ended. And you know what? It's a shame because I think I could have been a good doctor. I just didn't apply myself like I needed to right out of the gate. And sometimes you squander it in like a moment. By the time senior year rolled around, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my bio degree from Brooklyn College. But my first mentor, Bill Chisholm, the head athletic trainer at Brooklyn College, told me to consider PT school. So here I am, June of my college senior year. I saunter into LIU like, yeah, you're going to get accepted. Yeah, you're Saeed Hamdan, come on in. No, wrong. It didn't work that way. I missed the deadline, and on the way out of the building, I stumbled into the athletic training room to ask for directions out. And my second mentor, Gary Gardner, the athletic trainer at LIU, said to me, hey, why don't you try athletic training? That's a true story, and that's how I became an athletic trainer. 2 years later, Gary decided to leave LIU. I was graduating and was offered the head athletic trainer's job at LIU, a Division I program at the age of 24 years old. Sometimes luck plays a lot into everything you do in life. I stayed in that role for almost 12 years, working baseball with Frank Giannone as LIU's head coach. I was asked to join the Florida Marlins medical staff in '92, but decided Miami wasn't for me and my family, and stayed right here in Brooklyn until Ernie Grunfeld called me in '97 and asked me to interview for the Knicks assistant athletic trainer's job. I shared in an NBA Eastern Conference championship. I was an athletic trainer for the NBA All-Star game and worked with some of the greatest athletes and coaches in NBA history. My 9 years with the Knicks took me on a ride that, believe me, is a dream, but I want you to know it is attainable. I'm no better than anybody in this room. After the Knicks, I spent some time in private practice and a year working with Coach Blankmeyer and a guy you might have heard of, Joe Panic, at St. John's, the World Series champion now in his first season. I could never get the dugout out of my blood, and now, back at LIU, teaching and helping out in the athletic training room, I'm also the medical coordinator for the NBA referees, a position that I'm the only person the NBA has ever employed in that regard, and it's going on 10 years, and I'm really proud of that. Thank you. And here's where I'm going to get emotional, but I'm going to fight it through, all right? Donnie and Craig and my friends on the left here know me to break up when it comes to moments like this, but there's a message here. The point of my story is to share with you the fact that this happened to a guy just like you. My parents never had much, although my dad always had a sweet Chevy Impala. We didn't have much, but he had a car. I don't get that. But I always worked hard. I never said no to volunteer assignments. I always embraced the fact that the game is about the players and keeping them on the field is my job. I urge the players in this room, the kids, where am I? I urge you to do something. Yeah, I know, kids. To listen to what I said, to find a passion, and to make that passion your own. You're New Yorkers. We don't quit. We don't fold. We push. We climb. And with enough pushing, you win. Ask the people you care about for your guidance, for their guidance. And learn to listen to people who have been successful and who have experience. Because as I have found out, if you find something you love to do, you never work a day in your life. Thank you.